Light is Britain's far-right conspiracy theory paper spreading hate and vicious lies. No, that's what the BBC say. The Light is the only national newspaper bringing you the real news and informed opinion on what's really going on today. You can subscribe, order copies, submit articles, and read back issues on our website, thelightpaper.co.uk, and see for yourself why the establishment are so worried about the uncensored truth getting out to people every month. The Light Paper. Not far right, just right so far. thelightpaper.co.uk.
Scene script. Have you ever pondered the idea of financial independence and early retirement? The notion of not having to clock in at 9 or wrestle with the daily grind? Imagine a life where you're not shackled by financial obligations or a demanding job. It's not an impossible dream, but a reality for those who embrace the FIRE movement. That's financial independence, retire early. Consider the tale of Jane, a woman in her early 30s. Jane was an ordinary person living an ordinary life. She had a 9-to-5 job, a mortgage, car payments, and a lifestyle that was comfortable but hardly extravagant. And like most people, she dreamed of a life where she didn't have to worry about money. Jane decided to make a change. She began by cutting back on non-essential expenses, saving as much of her income as possible. She invested wisely, focusing on assets that generated passive income that didn't require her to trade time for money. Slowly but surely, Jane began to build her financial independence. She was still working, but she was no longer living paycheck to paycheck. She had a safety net, a cushion that gave her the freedom to make choices based on what she wanted, not what she needed. Fast forward 10 years, Jane, now in her early 40s, had achieved her goal. She was financially independent. She had enough passive income to cover her living expenses, and she no longer needed to work to survive. She was free to retire early, to spend her time as she pleased. Jane's story may seem extraordinary, but it's not unique. It's the story of anyone who has embraced the principles of the FIRE movement. It's a tale of discipline, of sacrifice, and of a relentless pursuit of financial independence. To summarize, the key points discussed today revolve around the idea of financial independence and early retirement. It requires discipline and sacrifice, cutting back on non-essential expenses and saving as much as possible. It involves investing wisely, focusing on assets that generate passive income. But most importantly, it requires a change in mindset. It's about seeing money not as a means to buy things, but as a tool to buy freedom. It's about understanding the true value of time and the freedom that comes with not having to trade it for money. This is the essence of the FIRE movement. It's not just about retiring early, it's about achieving financial independence, about gaining the freedom to live life on your own terms. Like Jane, you too can embrace the principles of the FIRE movement and embark on a journey towards financial independence and early retirement. After all, the only thing standing between you and your financial freedom is you.
Ever wondered how much you'd need to save to achieve financial independence? The answer lies within the mathematics of a concept known as FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. The most essential number in your journey to financial independence is calculated by multiplying your annual spend by 25. Notice the emphasis on annual spend, not annual income. This calculation is based on the principle that you need £300 invested for every pound you wish to spend each month in passive income. Hence, your FIRE number is also your monthly spend times 300. This mathematical principle is founded on the 4% safe withdrawal rate, as defined by financial advisor William Bengen. He proposed this rate after analyzing the S&P 500, which typically produces an average of better than 10% growth per year when studied over a period of approximately 30 years. Bengen considered factors such as inflation and market volatility. After studying previous market activity, he concluded that a 4% rate of withdrawal per year would provide for a 30-year sustainable portfolio in the vast majority of cases. So to paint a clearer picture, if your monthly spend is £1,000, then your target for financial independence is 300 times 1,000, or £300,000. Alternatively, if your annual spend is £12,000, your financial independence target is 25 times 12,000, which also equates to £300,000. The first step in planning your financial independence, therefore, lies in understanding your monthly and yearly expenditure. Without this knowledge, it is impossible to take further strides towards your financial freedom. In summary, the mathematics of FIRE revolves around the principle of multiplying your annual spend by 25 or your monthly spend by 300 based on the 4% safe withdrawal rate. Knowing your monthly and annual spend is crucial in determining the amount you need to save to achieve financial independence. Armed with this knowledge, you can then plan your journey towards financial freedom. Remember, the journey to financial independence is not a sprint, but a marathon. Embrace the mathematics of FIRE and take the first step towards your financial independence today.
Good morning, guys. It is 11:05 on Thursday, the 9th of January 2025, and that means that we have now completed 2 years and 40 weeks of what will be roughly an 8-year FIRE journey. In addition to that, I realise it has been 10 days since I was last online. That's just simply due to my schedule at work, but back again. I think my next broadcast will be in just under a week's time, 6 days time, but we will see. So first off, let's have a look at the market and just see where things are sitting right now. As you can see, the current market value for the Vanguard S&P 500 exchange traded fund, this is the version priced in pounds traded on the London Stock Exchange. So the price currently £91.22 near enough. That is up just about 0.5%. It had actually been slightly higher a few minutes ago, but not that matters. We currently have just under 250 shares in the portfolio, giving us a portfolio value of 22,000, almost 800, and current return on investment sitting just a bit under 32%. Not bad at all. Now, if we roll down and have a look at the stats at the bottom here, the days range is perhaps irrelevant given the market's only been open for about 3 hours, but look at the 52-week range, which is the one at the bottom, and as you can see, I think this current price is as high as we have seen. Let's just see if that's okay. So actually, I'm not sure why there's a discrepancy here. It's saying 91.21 at the top and 91.35 down at the bottom. But anyway, well, I suppose actually those are just sort of the highest and lowest in the range. So at some point in the last 52 weeks, well, not just in the last 52 weeks, but today, at some point, the market value was 91.3502, and that is the highest that we have seen so far. So let's have a quick look at the notifications. Biggest stocks before earnings: Tilray Brands, Walgreens, Boots Alliance, Delta Airlines, Accolade, Constellation Brands, again, biggest stocks before earnings: Jefferies Financial Group, Saratoga Investment, Penguin Solutions, Greenbrier Companies, and PriceSmart. And as I'm sure you've heard me say many times before, if you subscribe to the channel, aside from, say, Delta Airlines, I don't recognise the vast majority of those other companies. But it doesn't matter, you don't need to. If they're part of the S&P 500, if they're performing well, they'll stay in the index. If they're not performing just as well as other companies, they will be replaced. eBay advances up 8% as Meta partnership brings listings to Facebook Marketplace. That's interesting. I hadn't heard that. There was actually an announcement from Mark Zuckerberg in the last sort of 48 hours, saying that he was basically going to do away with the existing fact checkers who he accused of being too politically motivated. And basically he appears to want to make Facebook a little more like X in terms of how content is moderated. I think the general feeling is that Facebook has suffered quite a bit due to the essentially overbearing censorship that has been imposed on users over the course of the last 4 and a bit years. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, with quite a substantial announcement, even setting out individual points for things that he says are going to change. Let's continue with the announcement. Shell descends 2% after trimming LNG production outlook for the fourth quarter. Micron jumps 4% after being named a key supplier of NVIDIA's new GPUs. Those are graphics processing units. Biggest stocks before earnings, again, Calmain Foods, AAR, Albertsons Companies, Helen of Troy. I don't know what that is, but it's a good name. MSC Industrial Direct. mRNA trading higher. Moderna surges 10% as bird flu concerns intensify after the first reported US death. That's interesting. I mean, locally here we have had spokespeople for local health and social care trusts in the media complaining that uptake of vaccines is down on previous years, and as is usual really for this time of year for a flu season, the hospitals are bunged to capacity and even beyond capacity. In fact, there was a story carried by BBC in the last day or two talking about a man who had been advised his mother was advised to give him pain relief when she called to ask for ambulance transport for him to take him to hospital as he was suffering from chest pain. That lady decided to take matters into her own hands and transported her son to hospital, whereupon he collapsed and had a cardiac arrest, and the people working in the emergency department, I believe, successfully resuscitated him, albeit he remains in a critical condition. So yeah, healthcare on its knees currently in Northern Ireland, and I honestly believe, I have believed now for some time, that the absolute best thing you can do in terms of healthcare is look after your own health. Be proactive. Don't wait until things arise. you probably should consider taking supplements of vitamins and minerals, particularly those that are generally low in the local diet or indeed the local environment. We don't get a massive amount of sunshine here, and even if we get enough, it's not often warm enough to be able to take full advantage of it. So supplements are perhaps not a bad idea, but as with all advice that has to do with medical issues, you should always read the label and always consult your doctor. I feel I have to say that. Let's move on. Image giants merge. Getty Images up 35%. Shutterstock up 25% after announcing a $3.7 billion merger deal. So those, as far as I can tell, are basically online catalogues of photographs which can be, basically they're stock photographs. So if you are, let's say you're a journalist or something like that, you work for a newspaper or whatever, or I suppose, if you're making a brochure, I don't know, there's umpteen different reasons why you might want a stock photo as opposed to having to create your own. And that's essentially what Getty Images and Shutterstock provide, as far as I'm aware. They may be involved in other stuff as well, but let's move on. Day of mourning for President James Earl Carter was Thursday the 9th of January. US markets will be closed for trading to honour the memory of James Earl Carter, the 39th President of the United States. So I actually hadn't been aware of that. So the US market is actually going to be closed today. As I say, the ETF that I'm invested in, this one, is traded on the London Stock Exchange, and that's why we do see a figure for the change in price today. But obviously with the US market closed, that is going to have a bit of an effect, and probably really I would expect that this will not change very much today, other perhaps than to reflect changes in exchange rate or something like that, or if there's any significant news that comes out in the course of the day up to is it 4:30 the exchange closes, we may see something, some reaction, but on the whole I don't expect that this is going to change very much today, given that the US market is closed. So before I go ahead and put in this week's investment, let me just draw your attention to this company.
I want a bank that makes money easy.
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
And you are?
We're a bank called Monzo.
I want a bank that shows me what I spend instantly.
No problem, just give us a go. See?
Can you make splitting bills easy?
Super easy, check this out.
But it's a real faff to sign up.
It takes less than 10 minutes.
Race you.
You're on.
Can I talk to a real person 24/7?
Of course.
Even now?
Yep.
Even now?
Anytime.
Can you tell me when I'm running a little low on cash?
We certainly can.
Cool. Can I afford these?
You certainly can't, sorry. Can't afford that either.
That's a real shame.
Not really. Time's up, how'd you get on?
It's a draw. Can you help me save for my next holiday?
Oh, how about you set up a savings pot in the Monzo app called Barbados, baby?
Thanks for listening, Monzo.
We're all ears.
We can go now.
Rude. You make Monzo Monzo.
Okay, so I've said many times before, I use Monzo to fund my Trading 212 account. I also use it as my principal current account, and the reason that I like, well, there's multiple reasons why I like Monzo, which include the fact that any money transfers you make happen instantaneously. They provide a feature for parents to have to set up a account for their under 16s, which you can actually see within your own Monzo app, but the kids also have their own version of it that they can access through a mobile phone. They have a chip and pin card, and you can set spending limits on that. You can choose whether it can be used online, whether it can be used in a contactless way, or indeed whether it always has to be used as a chip and pin card, and all those sorts of things. So it is really very customizable, very user friendly. I'm not sure, I forget whether I mentioned that transfers happen instantaneously or not, and as I've said before, that is even true at weekends, bank holidays, and abroad. So, you know, if you do have family or friends who might need a helping hand all of a sudden, with Monzo you can have the reassurance that if it's needed, you can provide that assistance instantly. So for that reason, I really love is too strong a word, but I really enjoy using Monzo. I enjoy the fact that I know that when I send money, it goes. It doesn't wait for Monday morning. It doesn't wait for anything. It goes. And from that point of view, I think it's fantastic. But anyway, let's come back. Sorry, just to say finally, there is a Monzo affiliate link in the description for the video. I think it has, the terms or whatever seem to have changed slightly. I think it used to be a $5 that you would have got, and I would have got, if you signed up to Monzo and made a payment for something. But as far as I can tell, I looked at the app this morning and it looks as if that's actually gone up to a tenner now. Now if you use the affiliate link, it will probably bring you to a screen talking about signing up for the kids end of the app. But if you're not already a Monzo member, don't worry about that. You would have to create an account first, and I think the promotion would apply to your own parent account, more so than for the kids one. But as you'll see if you look at it, the thing there for the kids does allow you to skip the under 16s wait list, which at some point they must have created. I know certainly at the time that I was first interested in the under 16s account, whenever I became aware of it, it looked as though it wasn't up and running just quite yet, but I went through the process to join the wait list, and actually, if I remember rightly, it let me straight through, and within a fairly short space of time, a matter of days, I had received a card and was able to link my daughter's account to my account, and then go ahead and set up the app on her phone and all the rest. So let's get back to the topic in hand, the Vanguard S&P 500. As I say, currently sitting up about 0.5% today. Just before we put in our weekly investment, the average purchase price currently sitting at 69.20. I think we were right last time or the time before, whenever we estimated that now, instead of going up about 11p, the average purchase price seems to go up about 12p. Whenever we put in our weekly investment, we'll find out if that's correct shortly. If it is, that would take the average purchase price, to 69.32. So let's without further ado, go ahead and hit the buy button. These are 120 theoretical pounds because this is the practice account on Trading 212. I do have my own portfolio, but I keep it private for obvious reasons. And the £120 is basically based on what I reckoned at the time that I started this, that basically a young person starting out in Band 2 in the Health and Social Care Trust system in Northern Ireland should be able to afford to invest per week, assuming that they were able to minimise their costs elsewhere. So £120 is the value. The number of shares that should buy is roughly 1.3. Let's send it. So this is just sort of the confirmation page, and we will send the buy order. The order has been placed. It will execute. So we got 1.31 shares for 91.18.5, which looks like a fair price. And the goodness, okay, so I was not so much goodness, sorry, I was just looking at the average purchase price. So I had predicted it would go to 69.32. It hasn't quite, so it's gone up 11.5p, slightly more than that, so 69.31 currently. No doubt next week, if there's no significant fall in the market, it will probably go to 69.43, would it be? Yeah. But yeah, we'll see that in due course. So with that investment made, we now have 251 shares in the market, and the current portfolio value sitting a little below 23,000. Provided nothing changes too significantly next week, should push us just over the 23,000. I think that is pretty much it for today. I always like to think that the key information really in these videos is actually in the introduction, where the FIRE methodology is set out and the figures are sort of explained, in as much as in order to consider yourself financially independent, you need roughly 25 years worth of annual expenses invested. Or another way of looking at that is that you need £300 invested for every £1 that you intend to spend per month. And both of those figures are basically alternative ways of expressing that the safe withdrawal rate was calculated as being 4% by William Bengen way back when. And there is a document that gives more detail on that on the website. If you look in the channel details, you'll find the link to the website, and if you go into the resources section there, you'll be able to see, I think it's a 4-page PDF that William Bengen had authored, giving various charts and so on to demonstrate why 4% should be considered the safe withdrawal rate. But guys, as I say, I think that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video in particular, why not give it a thumbs up? If you want to follow the journey, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back next week with more. Have a great end to your Thursday.